They're sensitive, they're awkward, they cry on camera, and somehow we're supposed to root for them. Meet the soft boy, the hero who's kind of redefining what it means to be a man on screen. Hi, I'm Sudhish Kamath. Welcome to FOMO Fix, the show that helps you figure out why some soft boys work and some soft boys just make you roll your eyes. In this edition, we check the hype on Pradeep Ranganathan in Dude, where vulnerability meets chaos in Tamil cinema's most unlikely heroes, 100 crore hat-trick. I also have the heads up on Ayushmann Khurrana in Tama, a vampire story that's well dead on arrival, and Dhruv Vikram in Bison, the underdog soft boy who earns our respect by learning to shun violence. In TV Gold, I recommend a riveting thriller where alphas learn the hard way that sometimes there's no redemption down the violent path. When Cameron Crowe first asked John Cusack to hold up the boombox and say anything, John Cusack was reluctant. He thought it would make him look like a wuss. It was only after much convincing that John Cusack lifted the boombox on the last day of the shoot with a defiant, angry expression. And that was the take that made it to the movie, with Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes underlining what is today an iconic moment in pop culture history. As the viral song Why This Colaveri, written by poet Dhanush, introduces us to the trope, the soup boy. Playing the soup boy, Pradeep Ranganathan has scored his third hat-trick after Love Today, Dragon, and now Dude. So is it worth the hype, or is it really the return of the soft boy? Spoiler alert, it's both. Heroes traditionally have felt shy of playing soft. Maybe because it's not alpha enough for their idea of a hero. Maybe that's why Pradeep Ranganathan, who despite his fair share of haters, which will only go up if he keeps up his poor cousin variant of Dhanush, who himself is a poor cousin variant of Rajnikant, with mannerisms that are a copy of a copy, is still watchable. Pradeep works despite his cringe, wannabiness, and lack of originality because he's not afraid to be vulnerable on screen. When directors want to show someone who deserves to be beaten up because he's such a loser, Pradeep seems to be the perfect fit. He's basically the punching bag you can't help but empathize with. Every time a character in a movie slaps him or spits at him, we feel represented. Because he plays the most despicable of incels, be it the sexist hypocrite who has more dirt on his phone than the girlfriend he judges in Love Today, or the obnoxious chain-smoking dragon, or now the dude who gate-crashes his ex's wedding to know why she dumped him. If Rajnikant the superstar and Dhanush the soup boy, Pradeep has made the supreme soup boy his brand. He's willing to play the scum representing the worst of male behavior to show that even they have a shot at redemption. It's a step forward for Tamil heroes for sure, but all the progressiveness in Dude is at best at surface level. Because Pradeep plays the soft boy with aggressive, toxic male energy. Be it the snap of his fingers or the slap across the girl's face, which he never apologizes for, he's the kind of soft boy who feels entitled to an award or another heroine for doing the bare minimum decent thing. Or maybe it's the 26-year-old director Keerthiswaran's inexperience in handling tricky terrain. Dude is a frustrating film because it's great and full of promise for over half its runtime, as it keeps stacking up conflicts and themes only to be undone by the weight of it all in the final act, when the film collapses in the last half hour trying to tie up all the loose ends. While it's commendable that the young storyteller does not want the girl to regress back to her childhood love, the story offers very little to show why she chooses the men she does. The messiness of romance or honor killings cannot be tied up neatly with a ribbon. The film could have had her have a baby with one guy and end up with another. But Dude is still all too patriarchal, where an accidental pregnancy seals her choice of partner. This is a rom-com that needed the female perspective and is happy being the flawed dude perspective on things. For now, let's just celebrate the wins, the arrival of a fresh new voice. Keerthiswaran, here's looking at you, kid. Ayushmann Khurrana has made a career out of playing the vulnerable soft boy. And in Maddox's Thamma, which tries to expand its 3 universe to include vampires, the vegetarian soft boy is bitten, brought back to life by love, and becomes a post-human Betal. And just like that, the heroine with superpowers, Tadaka, played by Rashmika Mandanna, is relegated to playing his supporting girlfriend in the second half because the makers, who started off with the feminist themes in Stree, have regressed back to the chosen one template. There's absolutely no redeeming quality in the hero that makes us feel that he deserves to be a superhero. The writing is as elaborate as Varun Dhawan's wardrobe in his post-Bhedia transformation cameos, barely there to cover its own back. Considering that we just saw the much superior Lokah made in the same genre, this low-resolution script is best skipped. Or maybe caught on OTT when it's out if you're ever that bored. Dhruv Vikram really comes of age in Murray Selvaraj's Bison, where an underdog soft boy whose world singularly revolves around his love for kabaddi has to fight his way out of situations by avoiding violence, which is second nature to the world he inhabits. A world where othering is a way of life and seeds of division are sown in the minds of the young through the language of violence. This is a film where sport transcends differences and divides that are decades old, and all characters, no matter how evil, are shaded with humanity. Except maybe for the naysayer coach, a stand-in for the broken Indian sports system. This is a film where the older girl, played by Anupama Parameshwaran, decides who she wants, and the sister, played by Rajisha Vijayan, fights for her brother while the men in the world are busy fighting with knives. Dhruv brings an earnestness to this rough around the edges character who finds the right direction and allies to get out of the muck and raid his way to glory. Bison is a sports film with a lot of heart that truly makes us root for the underdog. Finally, in TV Gold, I recommend the Mark Ruffalo starrer Task, a cops and robbers procedural built around half a dozen highly tense AF shootout sequences and plenty of character study. Like all good shows, there are no binaries of good and evil. There are all kinds on both sides of the law doing what they do for the sake of their families. Created by Brad Ingelsby, who was also the creator of Mare of Easttown, Task kept me at the edge of my seat for 7 weeks straight. Now that it's over, I recommend that you get a taste of the heart in the mouth experience at the earliest. The penultimate episode was a shocker, made me wish they'd combined the 6th and the 7th episode into one tight episode, one tight finale, but this show was always going for the deep dive into the psyche of its world and characters. Watch and tell me what you thought of the finale in the comments section. Until next time, this is Sudhish Kamath signing off from FOMO Fix for The Hindu. Stay soft, stay smart, and stay clear of vampires. Ciao.